All right, everybody ready?
Let me take it with your camera.
Say we're having a very healthy breakfast of French fries.
French fries and Coke. What happened to diets? They were very happy.
We're not as good looking. You know what? The suits my neighbors. I don't own one. Well, you need to wear a tie and stuff. I look at them when I see I don't own a suit. And I don't teach in a suit.
You know what? Santa wants us to do that right now. How do you do now? This lady.
With no further ado, I'd like to introduce Ambassador Michael Guest from the United States of America, who's our host, and we'll ask him to speak a little bit about the reason why we're all here today. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to thank all of the members of Parliament, the members of government, and most importantly, the families who have come here today for making this trip. This is an important issue, and it's something that I feel from my heart. So I stand before you as America's representative, as America's ambassador to Romania, but I stand with you, the families, shoulder to shoulder, in believing very strongly that we need to do what we can to soften a law that is being considered by Parliament that is not in the interest of Romania's abandoned children. Now, I speak to you as a representative of my government because that is, in fact, our government's policy, but I also speak to you as a human. And the thing that I like the most about this event is that it shows the human face of families in America who cared enough about Romania and about Romania's social problems to invite children into your homes, to raise those children as your own, to form permanent bridges between the United States and Romania through those children's lives. And I thank you for the care that you have shown throughout the time that I've known many of you. So many of you I've met before, and your children, and many of you I feel like I've met because I've had so much correspondence back and forth, and it's really nice to have you here. I want to introduce you to a couple of people that have been very important in my life. Mom and Dad. Will you come up here? You have to give her a little time, okay? They just got off the flight yesterday. They may have been on the flight with you, in fact. But the reason I wanted to introduce you is that I believe very strongly that families are so important to the way anyone develops in life. So important. And it's so important that those families be permanent families. Institutions can give you care. They can give you social workers. They can give you assistance. Families give you moral values, ethical structures. Families give you a permanent support structure that goes on through your life. Thanksgiving turkey burned. Sorry. No, but seriously, families give you that support structure, that love, that care, that discipline, which I had as a child, I'll admit, and that guidance that is so necessary to what you become eventually as a grown-up, as an adult. And I'm so proud of my parents for giving me that structure, and I thank you for that. The issue of children in Romania has been clouded by a lot of issues that just are not being framed correctly, and I want to correct a couple of them on the record here. The first is that this issue puts the United States against the European Union, or the European Union against the United States. That simply is not true. Now, I know that there are some individuals and some prominent individuals who are not in favor of inter-country adoptions. But that position, a ban on inter-country adoptions, is not part of the European Union acquis communautaire. It has never, to my knowledge, been stated as a goal by the European Commission. There are many members of the European Parliament who disagree with the position taken by the EU Parliament's rapporteur and have made that clear. And there are EU member states who, like Romania, like the United States, have signed the Hague Convention on Inter-Country Adoption, the spirit of which is to call for permanent family environments for children to be raised in, preferably domestically if that's possible, and when that's not possible, though, internationally in inter-country adoptions, above permanent placement in institutions. That's just a logical position. And I think the fact that we have some members of the European Union member states here today, and Jesus, I thank you for coming, and I believe there are some other representatives as well, is an indication that this is not a European Union position. The European Union, like the United States, like our government, wants very much to stop corruption in the system. We want that to end. We want the structures put in place to ensure that an adoption law can be implemented without the corruption creeping back in. And there's some that tell me Romania can never do it. And when they tell me that, I look at them and say, I believe Romania can. If Romania cannot implement a law that governs adoptions, that's in the interest of the child, in a manner that undercuts the corruption that existed in the system before, corruption that in fact hurt the families as much as it did the children, then Romania's place is not in Western structures. And I believe that Romania's place is in Western structures, and I believe very strongly that with our help, with the help of the European Union and many other countries, Romania will achieve that position, and Romania can implement a fair law here. So this is not an issue between the United States and Europe. It is not. A second thing is that very often there are allegations that appear in the press, papers waved in hand saying that the families that try to adopt children in Romania or in other countries are child molesters or perverts. They're organ harvesters and things. And I know how much grief that has caused you. It certainly has caused me a lot of grief because I've met many of you, and I know the care that you have for this country's children that have been abandoned. I know the homes that you have brought them into in some cases. I know that you have provided the loving environments in which these children can grow. And so that is simply not true, and I want to state it for the record. It's just irresponsible to make those kinds of charges in the way that they have been made in the press coverage of this issue. Now, I will say to you that I don't know what will happen with the law that is now in Parliament. I know that some of you will be coming up here to make presentations, including with your children, about the experiences that you've had. And I hope that you'll have the chance also to meet with the many, many good-hearted Romanians who are here today who need to hear your stories directly, and who I think know, in fact, that the American families who have been, over the past many years since the Romanian Revolution, involved in the life of this country's social problems are here to help, and that they want to provide.
My name is Lynn Wetterberg, and I came to Romania first in 1990 for the adoption of my first daughter, Ani Shora, who we found in a hospital in Beiuș. She was 2 years of age and the size of a 6-month-old child. Could not crawl, could not stand, could not walk. And she has had severe neurological, affected neurologically due to her first years of institutionalization. While I was here, I spent 5 weeks in Romania, fell in love with the country, fell in love with the people, and I have come back many, many times. While we were here, my husband and I also met many older children in the institutions and became totally committed to finding families for children with special needs and children who were older in age who wouldn't necessarily be able to find a family in Romania. We have since adopted 2 more daughters, both Nicole and Julie, and they both came I found them both when I came with a medical team. They were at the Neuropsychiatric Hospital for the Irrecuperable in Siret, Romania. And one has been with me for 4 years and one for 1 year. I wanted to talk to you today about what families go through before they are allowed to adopt internationally. They must go through a very strenuous screening process. We start out as families by going to what's called an agency to do a home study. We are trained. We have to go through educational training. We have to go through days of training. We have to read many books. We have to allow our whole life to be basically open for examination. Our homes are inspected. Our finances are inspected. Our families are interviewed, or letters are received from families and friends talking about our morals and our ability to parent. We go through many meetings with counselors. We also are fingerprinted. Our backgrounds are checked, both on the state level and on the federal level. And not all of this is done for every family who adopts in America. Families who adopt domestically don't go nearly through the same process that families who adopt internationally go through. We are screened and screened and screened again. And if our paperwork is over a year old, we have to go through another fingerprinting process with the federal government. So every year that our papers, if you don't adopt right away, we have to be screened again. They also have to report formally to the United States and to the Romanian government, both. They have to make formal reports regarding the progress of their children.
My name is Linda Roback, and I'm a little bit of a special case in the sense that I am a single mother. I'm not married. I am dating, but not married. And I adopted my daughter, Laura. Hi, Laura. You want to come up here? Laura was 2 years old and 8 months. Can you wave? This is Laura. She is now 5.5. Laura was abandoned at birth and went to an orphanage for a little bit. I think it was 1.5 years. And then she was placed in a foster home in Sfintogorje due to the fact that her orphanage was falling apart and they needed to place the children in foster care. Today we are so happy. We just arrived yesterday and we were able to bring Laura's foster brother, Yuli. Yuli, can you come here for a second, please? Who is very shy, just like Laura. We have been able to stay in touch with Laura's foster family thanks to the invention of email, because they lost many of our letters. Excuse me. Yuli, his mother, and his father gave a home to my child when she didn't have one. They gave her so much love and attention and care that this child, when she came to me, there weren't any issues in bonding. Yuli's mother had prepared her well for my arrival. Due to some glitches in the system, we had to wait several months before we could be united. It is very, very, very important to us that we maintain our children's culture and heritage, and it is not forgotten. Many of the older children now are learning to speak Romanian. Laura will begin Romanian lessons next year. We also have a semi-annual reunion every 2 years, somewhere in the United States. It's a different location every 2 years. All of the children who have been adopted from Romania and their families attend a reunion. This past year, it was in Williamsburg, Virginia, and there were several hundred families there and their children. And so we want to assure you, your children do not forget their roots. Many of them come back again and again and again. Laura and I will be here until next Friday, and we will be coming again in the fall. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts for sharing your children with us. They are our gifts, and we treasure them. They are priceless. And I cannot imagine my life or the lives of my friends and my family without this child in it.
I don't know, the time has gone very fast, but it was about 7 or 8 weeks ago when we got the news where it looked like Romanian adoptions were going to shut down for good, forever. And we had some people who were trying to get some of the older kids out during the moratorium, and I called the families and told them, and I thought, the families will get through it. There's many children around the world. It was sad, but I thought, this is not about the families, this is about the kids. And I'm a different kind of mom, and I don't need to get emotional. But we have a children's home in Botoșani, Romania, where we've got 18 to 20 kids. And we've got 4 of those kids here. Ancuța, Ana Maria, Maița, Vasily, where are you? Would you want to bring them up here real quick? That night I sat, and you can't help it, but you start crying because you think, what's going to happen to my kids? And this is not just, these are our kids that we have been taking care of and have been hoping and praying for the right to a permanent family. Can you say hi to them? Can you say good morning? Bună ziua! Ana Maria, Maița, Ancuța, and Vasily. But what I would like to talk about is a little bit more about the child welfare reform and what's going on with Romania. And again, I want to reiterate the comments of Ambassador Guest. I have been coming here for 10 years. We've done a variety of things, and our latest are medical missions that we do annually. And the improvements that Romania has made has been tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. But there's still a long way to go. And the foster care system is a step towards the right direction. But as many of you know, the United Conventions on the Rights of the Child clarified in January of 2004 that foster care is not a permanent solution. Foster care is to be something temporary while permanency is looked at. We're also signatories of the Hague. Our Hague has not been ratified yet. In the United States, that actually entails creating a whole level of government, which has been very interesting. Whole new offices, whole new regulations, and is quite a challenge for us in the United States. But the United States is a signatory and has done the ratification of the Hague language. And we are very, very strong supporters of what we believe in our country is that the first thing that we need to do to help Romania is, number one, help prevent the children from being abandoned in the first place. Keeping families together. If families cannot be kept together, then we need to look at seeing if we can help children stay in extended families. If that is still not an option, then we need to look at trying to find Romanian families. And if that is still not an option, then we need to look at families wherever they may be. The other thing that I think we really need to stress is this is not about the European Union. This is not about the policies of the United States. This is about children, the lives of children who, once they turn 18, will have nothing. I work quite a bit with some of the older children in Botoșani who are now out of the orphanages. their future is extremely bleak. They have no future. Even something as simple that we take for granted, going home for that burnt turkey dinner, even though it may be a burnt turkey dinner, and I'm sure it wasn't, but even it is a family. It's going back and it's being with family and having that family support. I'm the mother of 9 children. 5 of our children have come to us through adoption. I cannot imagine life without any of the children that we do have. I cannot imagine life without my parents. But this is what is being chosen for these children without any input from them. The decisions that are going to be made by the Romanian government in the next few weeks is going to affect these lives for eternity. We can't think of it as just being something that's a temporary solution. Well, we're able to take care of them. We'll take care of them in foster care. I've been a foster parent for 20 years, and I've had 63 children. 63 children who still don't have permanent families. They left me, and they have gone in various ways, and unfortunately, the majority of them have not been very successful, despite everything that we've tried to do. Again, I think that we do need to look that foster care is a wonderful solution, but it's not a permanent solution, and we need to continue going on and continue going forward and looking to see what we can do to help Romania. And besides the U.S. government, I know there are many individual organizations who are also look at doing projects in Romania. Basically, this concludes the comments that we have to say. We encourage any of you, oh, no, there is one more thing I did want to say. I apologize for that. This is kind of an ad hoc group that got brought together very quickly between my horse running out and my whirlwind tornado. But there's also other people that I do need to thank, and that's the Congressional Coalition of Adoption, who has done a tremendous job of standing by, and that's a coalition of senators and House of Representative members from the United States who are all interested in adoption. Another organization that has done a tremendous amount of help is called the Joint Council of International Children's Services, who I am a member of, and Lynn is a member of, and we're on the board of directors, and they also are tremendous child advocates. But last but not least, I cannot thank enough the State Department and the CIS for all of the help that they have done in the last 7 weeks. I was shocked. I was getting phone calls from the State Department on Sunday. And that showed you how important that this issue is to everybody involved. So again, thank you. We would be more than happy to answer any questions, and I'm sure families would be more than happy to tell you your stories individually. So, Ambassador Guest, I'll let you close.
No long remarks from me, but let me thank again the families that have cared enough to come, the families that have cared enough to give homes to these children. And I know that some of you had to borrow money to make this trip. That should be noted as well. You care enough about the issue, you care enough about the future of the children of this country to do that. And I'm deeply, deeply touched by that, in fact. I also want to thank those of you from the government and the parliament who are here to meet with these folks, with these really wonderful Americans who love this country so much with their hearts. I know that you have difficult issues ahead of you as this law is being considered. You know from hearing from me that this is an issue that is felt very deeply, not just by me, not just by Secretary Powell and Deputy Secretary Armitage, who've been vocal on the issue in the past, also by the President of the United States, who raised it with President Iliescu in the Oval Office last October. I ask that you open your hearts to the folks and listen to them, and I thank you so much for doing so and for your time. We have food here.
I'm right here, buddy. Whoop. See, let Veronica have some time to herself.
Can you help me keep my drink?
Okay, let's go.
No, not run. Not run.
Future them when those children were extremely weak. So it started there, and then things expanded from looking at helping finding placements for the children. I just said, Beth, there's something magical about Romania. The people, the country's beautiful, and the people are wonderful, caring.
My girls, that's what happens to your level
Ne trebuie soluția.
Eu mai degrabă după că nu un sfert ei.
Pentru mai bine de 2 ore la un eveniment organizat după reguli perfecte ale legii, un eveniment care își propune să schimbe proiectul de lege pe care guvernul l-a trimis în Camera Deputaților privind adopțiile internaționale și care este foarte restrictiv. Este un proiect de lege agreat de Uniunea Europeană.
Okay, just a second.
Statele Unite vor să schimbe asta, vor să fie permise adopțiile internaționale. Sigur, documentul este doar o hârtie care este rece, care vorbește despre viața unor copii. Lângă mine am un copil fericit. Veronica este un copil care și-a găsit o familie și care va trăi o viață frumoasă. E greu de spus ce e mai bine. E cert însă că a fost foarte, foarte clar astăzi că adopții internaționale se pot face și cu final fericit. Și nu trebuie să vorbim numai despre cazurile negative. Observator Alexandra Stoicescu.
Aici despre ziariștii sechestrați și amenințați la Timișoara de candidatul PSD la primărie. Adevărul îl citează în titlu pe Guest, dar notează ironic, comedia americană a grijii față de orfanii României continuă. Îl avem și pe Vadim, pozând în mare iubitor de evrei și plecat în fruntea 100 de peremiști în pelerinaj la sinagogă. Gardianul acuză primarul Aradului implicat în afaceri ilegale cu terenuri. Alte titluri, vântul riscă să fie adus la judecată cu poliția și mai tare ca toate aici despre ziariștii sechestrați și amenințați la Timișoara de candidatul PSD la primărie. Adevărul îl citează în titlu pe Guest, dar notează ironic, comedia americană a grijii față de orfanii României continuă. Îl avem și pe Vadim, pozând în mare iubitor de evrei și plecat în fruntea 100 de peremiști în pelerinaj la sinagogă. Gardianul acuză primarul Aradului implicat în afaceri ilegale cu terenuri. Alte titluri, vântul riscă să fie adus la judecată cu poliția și mai tare.